Alright, what is up everybody? We're about to go and do some fuel line repair work on the Dakota. I mentioned it in the reveal video that the fuel lines were really crusty underneath of it, and the other day went out, did some snow donuts in Mexico, got back home and smelled fuel, so I looked underneath of it and it was leaking a little bit of fuel, which I was expecting to happen eventually. I was paying close attention every time I got in and out of the truck and paying close attention to my gas mileage to see if I was developing a leak, and then I smelled it when I got home after work and it was losing gas pretty quickly as well. Yeah, now it needs lines, so it's time to run soft lines front to back. What I need to do really quick before I go and buy fuel hose, which is what I'm going to be replacing the hard lines with, is hose. I need to go underneath, pull the fuel filter off and see what size the hoses are. So I'm going to go down there with the screwdriver real quick, get the truck jacked up, go down to the screwdriver, pull the fuel filter off and see what size it is, and I'm going to run up to the auto parts store, get some hose, some proper fuel injection hose clamps, and then I'll be able to get the truck patched back up and we'll be able to start it up and drive it, and hopefully my gas mileage will be better. My gas mileage has been really bad. It's pretty much since I got it, and I think it's probably been slowly seeping fuel for quite some time, and that has been what's contributed to it. Alright, so here's a quick look at the lines. As you can see, very rusty. Everything, all the lines are very crunchy. It's right there. It looks like 15, or not 15/16, 5/16 smaller filter instead of 3/8, so that's what I thought it was, but I wanted to check and make sure. So what I'm going to do, since that hard line way up there which runs this filter is still good, it's not all rotted out, I'm going to go and run an actual proper fuel line hose clamp from that all the way up to the front of the truck. I'll just replace this vacuum line and the return line with just a hose clamp and hose front to back, since they're not high pressure. The return line's not high pressure. It doesn't really need to be super secure, so it's not going to be a big deal as long as it's clamped down tight. The high pressure line's the only one that's got to have some sort of flare or something on it. So that's going to be the plan. I'm going to go to the parts store and get some fuel line, and then we'll get to repairing it, and I'll give you guys a little bit more of an idea of the plan as far as replacing the hard lines themselves with soft hoses. Alright, I apologize for the heater noise. I'm going to try to talk right into the mic on the back of the camera so you can hear me, but upon looking a little bit closer, the return line and the breather line don't look that bad, and the auto parts store did not have enough line for me to do all three lines anyway. I did buy a new vacuum line and stuff, but the actual pressurized line is the only one that's actually that rusted out. Right there is where it was leaking. You can see here it's all wet. That's where it sprung a leak at. So I'm just going to replace that with some soft line and zip tie it up here to these lines here. I've got some this plastic stuff like what you can see on that harness to cover the soft line with, so it doesn't rub through or get cut by anything. And then I have an extra fuel filter I can use, and I'm gonna hose clamp it up to this line right here, and then just run the soft line all the way back to right there. Or I might double filter it if I don't have enough hose for now, just so that I can get this thing running and driving again. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So you can see these look really bad, but it's a lot of scale that's on them more than anything else, and dirt. They're quite solid yet, and they aren't wet or anything. The only line that was wet and rusted, of course, was the high pressure line. So I'm going to zip tie those up and zip tie the other soft line I add up to those, and then in the future I might just have a shop professionally install some new fuel lines for me, or who knows what I'll end up doing with this truck in the future. Maybe I'll stick a fuel cell in it and we'll make a bunch of horsepower out of it and it won't matter anymore. But that's the situation down here, just replacing the high pressure line, and then I'll go and see if I still have leaks. Hopefully not. Go put some gas in this thing because it's about empty, and then I think later I'm going to go get some brake pads and we'll go ahead and install those. Super glad that the low pressure line is in good shape, because I would have had to drop the tank to get up into the fittings that are up there, whereas this fitting is right there hose clamped, so it makes things a lot easier. Okay, the entire line is fixed and replaced. So up here we get the original line, hose clamp to a brand new fuel filter, and then on the other end we got the new hose clamp to the fuel filter. This was originally a fuel filter for like a quick disconnect, but I cut the end and bubble flared it so it's got the proper flare to use a hose clamp on. And I got some plastic to protect the hose from rubbing or getting cut or heat or anything like that. Zip tied up to the old hard line that I still have on here. And then hose clamped to the factory spot where the old fuel filter hose clamp went. And that's it. That's how it's all set up. Real nice and clean. This is the old high pressure line. As you can see, it's very rusty, but it's still not brittle except for in this one spot. Right there. Oh, hey, it broke all the way up here. But even if you look there, there's still some somewhat decent metal there. I don't even remember where the wet spot was on this, but it doesn't matter anymore because it's gone. Not going back on my truck, of course. So there we go. And I have proper fuel injection hose clamps, not that kind of hose clamp on there anymore. So just to add some more length to this video, I guess, go ahead and start the truck, check it for leaks, and once I see that there's no leaks, I'm going to go out, put gas in it because it's pretty much empty, and then I'm going to go get some new brake pads. I'm going to do just a quick pad change because I don't want to go in and do the rotors and stuff yet. The rotors themselves, they're rusty because the truck has been sitting for a while. If you can maybe see a little bit right there, there's some rust on them from sitting. But they aren't in terrible shape. They're not like scuffed or anything, but I want to put some new pads on just because one of them's down to a squealer, and I don't feel like I ended up going all the way down to the metal and totally ruining a rotor and having to replace it yet. I want to do the whole front brake system all at once and get all new stuff, but I'll go buy like a $20 set of pads, throw those on, be good for a few months, and then go through, do wheel bearings, rotors, calipers, lines, everything all up front, and have all new brakes because I eventually want to be able to tow stuff with this thing, so having good brakes is very important. Let's go see if this thing will start, see if there's any leaks, and then go put some gas in it, get some brake pads, and get some new brake pads on this thing as well. Say goodbye to all my nice warm air. This thing's probably gonna need to be cranked a few times. Let's listen to it when I turn it on. Take as many cranks as I expected. Let's get down there and look for leaks. We're all good. I don't see any drips or leaks. Awesome. That is really good. Well, now there's no leaks. I'm gonna go out, get some gas, get some brake pads, and then that'll probably be the end of this video. Alright, just got back from AutoZone. Got the good old Duralast metallic pads. Probably start on the passenger side, not film that because you guys can't see, and then I'll do just a quick little edit doing the driver's side. Got all my tools sitting out, brake bleeding stuff just in case I need to do that. Grease for the pins, impact gun. I gotta grab all the sockets and wrenches. The calipers should be pretty easy to take off. I got my C-clamp so I can push the piston in, got an eyedropper so I can suck fluid out of the master if I need to. And of course I got the pads, so we're all ready to go, ready to put some fresh pads on here. We'll go inspect the old ones and see what kind of shape they were in. The truck was missing a lug nut on this side when I got it. So one of them is actually from my old Mustang. That I have a whole set of them from that car actually still around. So it uses a different socket from all the rest, but hey, at least all six are there, right? all right. Everything's on. I checked the torque on all the wheels. It's all good. I pumped the brakes a couple times just to get the pistons to compress the pads all the way in, and then top fluid level off. Checked it. It's all good, so the thing's ready to go for its first test drive. But before I go do that, I want to show you guys the old pads. So here's the driver's side, and what I realized I was hearing squealing probably was this guy right here was probably vibrating around or rubbing something, because it basically fell off of this pad when I went down there to look at it. It pretty much just fell off, and it was probably just sitting in there like that and wiggling around and squealing and stuff. So yeah, that's probably what I was hearing. But this pad, that's a crack, all worn out, shiny, nasty. These pads are old. You can see some wear lines on it from the rotor being really old as well. These rotors have probably been machined down a couple times. The driver's side one especially looks a bit thin, but I'm going to use them for now because they're all I have. This was the other driver's side one. That one is pretty wrecked, really brittle, hard, a bunch of crud all over it, and of course it's cracked all over top and bottoms, in really rough shape. Pieces were busting off of it. I think all the rivets are still into these, at least. Yeah, looks like it. This one is missing the metal cover that's supposed to go there, unless it's still currently stuck inside of that caliper. I didn't even look, but hopefully it's not. But that piece is not there on this, at least. And this one's got a couple more cracks, actually quite a few more cracks. It's all shiny, worn out and stuff. And then this one was the worst one as far as uneven wear. This was the inside of the passenger rotor. That rotor's got a giant groove in it on the top. I don't know why. The entire brake system up front needs to be replaced, but just so that I can drive safe for like a month or two before I go and buy the entire front brake setup for this truck. New pads will hold me off long enough. I bought cheap metallic ones, so it's not like they're nice ones that I'm ruining or anything. But these were very shot. They needed to go. And then, I mean, the back of this one was actually fine as far as I can tell. But yeah, that's the old pads. They won't break when I throw them on the ground, at least. But yeah, they faded pretty bad. Didn't have a lot of stopping power. Squeaked because of that thing, probably. I mean, it's not good. I could hear them like clunking and moving around as well, because the springs on the two outside ones were missing, so they'll vibrate and move around, and that's also not good. So yeah, that's new brakes, fixed the fuel leak. Truck is all good to go, all dialed. I'm not going to film the test drive or anything like that because it'll be pretty boring. But yeah, brakes are good. They should be fine. If anything crazy happens while I'm test driving, I'll of course let you guys know. But if nothing does, then the video ends here. Then just assume everything was good. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see some more.